What's up, Periscope? We are live recording the Nuclear Chowder Marketing Podcast. I'm going to kick things off as soon as I get my Periscope steady. All right, we're going to start recording, have some fun. Nuclear Chowder Podcast, episode 92. This is the online marketing podcast that goes beyond the tech and marketing jargon to make sure that the fundamentals are strong and you're getting more leads, customers, and profits in your business. All right, thanks for tuning in today. This is episode 92 of the Nuclear Chowder Marketing Podcast, and it is being live cast again on Periscope, as I've been doing every now and then. So, howdy folks on Periscope. And I'm also recording it on my computer. I'm testing out YouTube's live streaming. It's not the same as what you can do on Periscope and Meerkat, but it's, messing around with it. The goal here is just to record some video. So I want to make sure each week I'm recording a little bit of video, and that's why I do it. You know, my frenemy, good frenemy of the show, Ralph M. Rivera of the Web Search Social Podcast, hates Periscope. He hates it. That's right, Ralph M. Rivera of the Web Search Social Podcast, one half of the Web Search Social Podcast, frenemy of the show, hates Periscope, hates Meerkat. So we're doing this. I'm pretty much live streaming just to, rub it in Ralph's face a little bit to give him a hard time. Actually, I'll be honest. He doesn't hate it. He is indifferent to it. He's not, he's not out there yelling from the rooftops that it's the next best thing, because it's not. It's just another tool. And I'm making fun of him, but it's fun to make fun of Ralph, because Ralph likes to make fun of me. So if you listen to their podcast, the Web Search Social Podcast, which is my favorite podcast, by the way, love those guys. They do like poking fun at me, so why not poke fun back at them? So there, Ralph actually they podcasted about it today. So if you're listening to this week's episode of the Web Search Social Podcast, you'll get the gist of what Ralph is talking about. And I'll embed it in the show notes so you can go over there and listen to it. He doesn't really hate it. He has, he doesn't like the idea that people are looking at it like the next coming of whatever, and people tend to do that with any kind of online tool. There becomes the it tool, the it social media tool for businesses, and everybody gets caught up in, you got to go check out Periscope, you got to go check out this tool. And we've been there and done that. We've been down this road a million times with all sorts of different things. Like, I remember when Facebook was all of a sudden this brand new thing that every business wanted to get on. And nobody knew why they needed to get on it. They just knew they had to get on it because everybody said they had to get on it. Well, it's not, it's about the message, the marketing message, the message that you put out to the world. It's not about the tool that you use. The tool you use is just broadcasting. I use Periscope and I use Meerkat because it's just another way for me to get in front of my audience, people who are already listening to me. I don't expect people to discover me on Periscope. It's an open environment. So, I'd be crazy to use it for that because it's new. We don't know what the audience is not necessarily, it's all sorts of different people, and it's not a targeted audience. So the chances of my marketing message meeting the right people, finding the right people on Periscope is probably not going to happen. But am I, able to use it to reach my audience of people that are currently my audience? Yeah, it's a great tool for that. And I've had people who listen to this podcast or listen to, or are in my network, people who are on my email list. They go and they watch this on Periscope or Meerkat, wherever I'm, live streaming it, and it does help. It really. It gets people who are already engaged with me, I guess, or in my audience to have another reason, another way to get in, back in front of the, uh, back in front of them. So, with that said, what are we talking about today? Today's topic is email marketing. I've just released a brand new free, free piece of content on email marketing. So I've been talking about email marketing a lot. I've been talking to, I've been obviously putting this together. So I've been talking about it, writing about it, but I've been talking to a lot of people about it because that's what I'm working on now. But I want to talk a little bit about it, a little bit about why people should be doing it, and actually talk about some interesting results that I've been getting as I've been putting this together. It's kind of interesting, eye-opening to me, and I want to share that with you. First, I want to give you a little public service, a little, what do they call it in the newspaper, when they're in the news, like a public service announcement, PSA, right? Public service announcement on, this is from a Washington Post article that came out last week about the big legal burden that awaits small businesses, and most aren't aware of it. That was the title. It has to do with credit card processing. So if you are processing credit cards in your business, and I know a lot of small businesses have the Square, or they do, there's all these different credit card readers that you can use on your smartphone, or they have old credit card readers. If you don't have a relationship with a credit card processing person, you need to do that now. You need to call them and talk to them now, because what's happening is the credit card companies are rolling out the security chip, and there's a deadline that's happening. All security, I guess all the readers out there have to be able to they have to be chip enabled in order to process credit cards by October 1st. And it's the end of July. It's August 3rd today as we're recording this, and we're getting close. That deadline's approaching. So talk to your credit card processor and make sure that you are able, and you are going to be you're going to be congruent with the chip enabled devices. You're going to be able to accept that, because if you're not, you are liable. There's some liability that's going to fall on you if fraud happens on the credit card, right? So if somebody comes to you with a stolen credit card and you process it and put it through, you're going to be on the hook for that money, where you never used to be, because if you're not processing it with the chip enabled, if you're not taking it, doing the right thing there, you're going to be responsible for any money that comes from fraud. So make sure you do that. There's going to be some big problems for smaller businesses, especially, that don't know about this. And I'll put this in the show notes. This is episode 92 of the Nuclear Chowder podcast. So you can get there by going to nuclearchowder.com/92 or 092. Either one will take you there. And I'll put this article in the show notes. You need to talk to whoever processes your credit card. There's a little public service announcement for you that is extremely, extremely important for your business. So let's talk about email marketing. Now, I recently did a unofficial poll. Kind of, as I was putting this course together, I did an unofficial poll of people in networking groups, online poll, and just asking in general. And I asked two questions: who does email marketing, and then who wants to do email marketing? And the results to me were actually a little scary. In a room full of small business owners, the first time I did it, I was in a room with about 30 plus business owners. It's not a large audience, but it's still quite a few. There's all business owners, all local people, and I asked them, who does email marketing? And like maybe 3 or 4 people raised their hands. 3 or 4 people out of 30. I mean, it was such a small amount of people that raised their hands. Then I asked the second question of the people who aren't doing it yet, who wants to do it, and it was the same thing, like 2 or 3 people raised their hands. Very, very small percentage. I don't really understand why that is, especially when you consider that email marketing is one of the most inexpensive and effective marketing tools you have. And I'd love to know why, by the way. So if you're watching the video or listening to the podcast And you have an answer to this question. If you're a small business owner and you're not doing email, or you answer, no to the second question that you don't want to do email marketing, let me know why. I might put, maybe I'll share my, I have just a 2-question poll, and I'll have to put, what, I'll put a little pretty link. I'll put a link together. How about this? nuclearchowder.com. I'm going to jot this down so I remember to do this before I put the podcast live. So I'll do nuclearchowder.com / let me think of a clever name for this. So nuclearchowder.com / email survey. There you go. Now let me actually put that in here to make sure I don't already have one. So I use a program called PrettyLink, by the way. If you don't use that, it's a great tool for you to add to your system. So PrettyLink, it basically creates a pretty link. You use it to create redirects. Yes, so I'm putting that link in. Nothing is going there, so that's going to be the link. So here's what I do. Like, I can go to SurveyMonkey now, which I'm going to do. Right, I'm going to go there after this, and I'll make sure that my survey is set for the general public, because it was just kind of I didn't show it to everybody yet. So I put the survey together, and it's really not available for the general public. I've only been giving it to a certain amount of people, so I've been giving them the SurveyMonkey link. Now, by using PrettyLink, and it's a plugin that you put on your WordPress website. It's important that you have WordPress, I think. Maybe PrettyLink, maybe if you go to prettylink.com, they have a way to do pretty links without having a blog, but I know I use it through my blog. So I can take the SurveyMonkey link and create a link on my website called Email Survey, and then I just redirect it. So it's a way to redirect. It's like Bitly, bit.ly, if you've ever used Bitly, except it allows you to have the link be your own website. So I'll set up that survey, but I really, really would love to know why, if you're doing email marketing, and why you're not doing it, or why you don't want to do it. And I would imagine there's going to be some reasons that I'm going to find out as I ask people. And I imagine one of the reasons is probably going to be because they don't know how. They don't know the right way to do it, or they've done it and it doesn't work. In which case, you're crazy to give up. You're crazy to give up, and I'll tell you why in a moment. Another reason may be because they've just given up on everything. Some email's old news, right? Email technology's been around for such a long time. It's not new and sexy. We've got to use the hottest thing. We've got to do Facebook instead of email, and that's crazy. That's crazy. And I guess, I don't know. I don't know what the reasons are. So I'd love to know your reason. I have a feeling those are going to be two key reasons, especially people not knowing how to do it. And that's why I put the course together that I put together, which, by the way, you can get that course if you go to nuclearchowder.com / email opens. Let me make sure I got that link right before I open my big mouth. Let's see. It's going to be nuclearchowdermarketing.com / email opens, all one word. So again, that'll be on the show notes, episode 92 show notes. But it's just a free report I did. Little trick that I use to double, triple, and sometimes even more the amount of people who open my email. So what I've found, in talking to people about email marketing, is my assumption here, and I hope I'm right, is that people get low open rates. And when I talk to people and I ask them what they get for open rates, they usually tell me like 10% or less. And, unfortunately, some of these email providers, like Constant Contact, will tell you that some of these low open rates are industry averages. And it shouldn't be that way. You should be able to get a high open rate, like 30, 40, 50 or more %, depending on the list you're emailing, depending on how much you email and how much your list likes you. But here's the deal. If people know you, if people know who you are and they want to hear from you, why wouldn't they open your emails? So you should be able to get high open rates. And this is just a little trick that I've used, and I use it all the time, and it really works great. It's almost like a hack. That's the sexy word now, right? Hack. It's an email marketing hack. So you can grab that. It's really simple. It's just on the first page, I explain what the secret is, what the trick is, the hack. And then on the subsequent pages, on the following pages, I show you how to do it. because it can be a little bit of a process to do that, especially depending on the email system you're using. Some are harder than others. And by the way, if you don't have an email system yet, go get one. You need to be using a real email system. If your email marketing is going into your Gmail account and sending out Gmail emails, you're number one, potentially breaking the canned spam laws. You're doing it wrong, and you could get in trouble. If you're especially like if you're mailing to Canada email addresses, if you're mailing to people in Canada who did not give you explicit permission, their government, they passed a law up there that allows them to sue people who break the canned spam law, and they can get millions in damages, and they'll come get you here in the US. Don't think that they won't. So make sure you're following, especially if you're emailing up in Canada, but anywhere, you never know when the laws are going to change. And the email systems, very simple email systems are out there, like Constant Contact. Aweber is the one I like and I use. I've used Aweber for years, and I now I now suggest them as my thing. I have a link that you can go to. You can go to nuclearchowder.com/get Aweber, GETAWEBER, get Aweber. That'll give you a free month of it. And after you do that, it's $20 a month. And until you get like maybe a couple thousand people on your email list, it goes up a few more bucks a month. But for $20 a month, that's it. That's all an email system costs you. Now you can add people, and the reason I now use Aweber is because I used to use Constant Contact and Aweber, but I've closed my Constant Contact because Aweber now does something that I think is really important for an email system, which is they allow you to upload emails into your database, where they weren't doing that. They used to force you to send a confirmation email to your list. And that's, if I'm out at a local networking event and I get your business card and I want to add you to my email list, I tell people, I explain to them in the email, hey, we met at a conference or wherever, I just added you. Here's how you unsubscribe if you don't want to be on the list. And that's how I build my, it's cold email list, but it's a start. And if you can't import, that's a problem. So Aweber just recently allowed people to do that. So now I unconditionally refer people to Aweber. I love the system. I've been using it for years. I do get paid if people use that link. That is an affiliate link. But I would recommend them with or without the money. I mean, I only get paid a couple bucks, so it's not like I'm making a living, but I do really like Aweber, and I have been using them probably for over 10 years, I think. So they're great. I mean, for only $20, you can market to anyone you have access to their email, right? Anyone whose email you have, you can now market to them on a regular basis. I mean, to me, that's the best part. So $20 a month, but once they're on your list, you have the ability to market to them on demand for free. It costs you nothing to send an email outside of the monthly $20 fee. It doesn't matter whether you send an email once a month, once a day, twice a day, it costs you the same. It's instant communication with your prospects and your customers. And really, I can't understand for the life of me why anyone would not want to do that kind of easy, simple marketing. And again, I said one of the reasons I bet is because everybody's probably thinking, I'm sure, and I've heard people say this, nobody reads emails anymore. They're all on social media. That's bull. That is complete bull. Everybody's got an email account. They're not going to sign up for social media without an email. Now, should you not be on social media? Of course not. It's another tool. But your email list is yours, number one. You own it. You don't own your Facebook friends. You don't own your Facebook likes. Facebook can stop sending. Yeah, they did that. Facebook started not showing posts on like pages, but to hardly any people anymore unless you pay. I mean, your emails are always going to get delivered. Aweber's never going to go, you know what? I know you pay $20 a month for the service, but we're only going to send 3 emails for every 100 that you mail. They're not going to do that. The email list is yours. Once a month, once a week, whatever, you can export your list. If AWeber closes your account, you go upload your emails to another account. It's that easy. Instant communication. Touches, keeping in touch. As part of a good, healthy marketing system, you need to have constant communication. You need to have continual contact with people. You have to. It's otherwise they're going to forget you. And here's an example, a real life example. We just signed up a client last week, and it was a direct result of the email marketing campaign that we just put out. The promotion for the email trick, the little hack that I put up there, which you can get to at nuclearchowder.com/email-opens. So I put that program together last week, and I sent out the first email to my list of my local network. Now, 2 days later, I got an agreement sent back to me that somebody had filled out and signed that I sent them a month ago. And quite frankly, I'd followed up with them and forgot about them. I actually fell out of my funnel, except for my email follow-ups. And finally, that was the email that reminded this person that they had to sign up with us. So that constant touch, that constant engagement allowed me to stay with that client and get that client. That was just from email, and that was free. That was free advertisement. And again, I can't understand why any business owner would not be doing that. I really want to know, seriously, why? If you are not doing email marketing, I want you to get in touch with me. I want you to go to that survey, nuclearchowder.com/email survey, and let me know. Let me know what your reason is. First of all, the survey will ask you if you're doing it or not, but it'll give you a reason. It'll give you a place to fill in a reason. It's a real simple, easy 2-question survey. Would love to know, would love to have some data on that so that I can help. And, if there's a reason behind it that is, I guess, something standing in your way. So if you're saying, if your answer is, well, I've tried it and I can't seem to build my list, let me know. How can I help? What piece of information can I give you that will help you break down the barrier and get into email marketing? Because it's really, really, really important. Really important for your business. So that wraps it up for this episode of the Nuclear Chowder Marketing Podcast. Do me a favor and go over to iTunes and rate and review the podcast. You can get there by going to nuclearchowder.com/iTunes or nuclearchowder.com/Stitcher. And if you are watching this over on Meerkat or Periscope or whatever, let me know. Give me some feedback on how you found it, and I'll embed the video from the Periscope video. I'll embed that in the show notes in case you want to see the shirt I'm wearing. I got to give a shout out to John Shaporian from Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. He's a real estate agent, and he got me this shirt at a concert because he knows I like one band, but I don't like the band that's on the t-shirt. It's kind of making fun of two things at once for me. So you're only going to know what the answer to that is if you go and you watch the video on Periscope. All right, I'll see you on the next episode. All right, Periscope, that's the end of it. So I'll tell you the story of how this shirt came about now that I'm done recording here. I'm still recording on Periscope. So my friend John Shaporian, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Properties, he's a real estate agent. He's a Rush fan. He's a crazy Rush fan, and I'm a Kiss fan. I grew up with Kiss was my favorite band growing up, so they're one of my favorite bands. Now, of course, a little trivia for you. Kiss took Rush on their first tour, so without Kiss, you'd have no Rush, and I can't stand Rush, and he knows that. Like, it's like nails on a chalkboard to me. So he got me this shirt at the concert. So a little shout out to him wearing it. All right, so thanks for watching over on Periscope, and we'll see you on the next live stream.